The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings. The banger is hyped up on coffee and zoned out because lack of sleep, so it should be a great show. Welcome, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Got my one coffee here loaded and ready to go, and I've also got a backup. It's been an eventful week for the banger, and, well, last night in particular, I was asked to judge a karaoke contest up in Flint, Michigan. So I was very honored to do so, and I want to thank John, the guy running the whole thing, and Scott Roby from the band Prowess for even recommending me. Got my pass here. We've turned on the banger cam if you're so obliged to watch this feed. You'll see that we're on banger cam 3, right? Right. Yeah, we're on banger cam 3 today. And I got my backstage pass from last night for those of you who are tuned in to the banger cam. It was pretty awesome. There were a lot of great singers. And I had a really good time. And Flint's not all that far away. And the banger did pretty well. He just looked it up on the map before he left, and he got there without any help, no problem. I don't think I took a wrong turn. Last week's, see, I've had an eventful week because last week I was a host of a press conference for the band Wrecking Crew and their upcoming show. They're a bunch of tribute bands. But I wanted to discuss the karaoke contest because it was really an honor for the banger to be asked to do so. And I'm in this kind of public relations mode this year, so when the opportunity came up, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And you'd be amazed at how many people are really, really good singers, and they're not in a band or they're just doing this. And, you know, they have some other job in their life. I never thought about doing it as a profession or whatever. But some of the contestants were just amazing. And John, who put on the event, had the full red carpet for all the contestants. They had a nice VIP area where there was a small buffet and water and drinks for everybody. And it was a really nice affair. And I have to give the guy credit. And apparently this is his first time doing it, and for a first time overall, I thought it was a great success. And I hope in the future he'll have us be a bigger part of it, and maybe we'll talk about it and have him on as a guest here coming up when he does these kind of things, because I thought it was fun, and it's a nice change of pace to talk about something like this over everything else in the news. And the basic concept, you know, I should say that judge was kind of a loose term, because what the judges really did is make sure the vote totals were correct. The concept was that the contestants would sing, and their peers, the other contestants, and this was like a tournament of champion. They spent like 9 weeks getting ready for this whole thing. So however they got there, they get to this big tournament of champions, and so they get to vote on their peers. And for the most part, it was most of the girls were being fair to I should say most of the contestants, because not all of them were women, and I don't want to discriminate one sex or the other. You know what I'm saying? most people were being fair for the most part. You know, when you're talking about people judging their competition, there tends to be a lot of low numbers, because I know how competitive, especially if there's like a $2,000 prize at stake. So as a judge, and we're watching things rolling in, you know, you can see, somebody who should have got 10 more points, because it was like an overall 100-point scale, 50 for one category, and then there's some others. We as judges could not actually do judging where it affected who went on to the next round, who got points. We were just there to moderate, to make sure the vote totals were correct. But we started seeing these really low numbers for really good singers coming in. The banger caught it. But I brought it up to one of the other judges, and then we told the third judge, I said, hey, look at this, man. And it kept coming in. I said, keep watching this guy's name, because it was one of the male contestants doing this. And numbers that in a 100-point scale, a lot of times the low number would be, 48 to 60 were the low end, and then the good singers got 70 to 80, and the really great singers, the better ones, got, up 90s, and we had a couple hundreds, but for the most part, nobody really dominated. It was pretty across the board. But we kept seeing contestant after contestant come in, and who voted for that, and the ballot would come in, and instead of them getting a mediocre 60 to 70, they'd come in with 15 or 12, or if it was lucky, 20, which would rob them of 30 to 40 or 50 points. And some of these contestants were so good. And we were seeing this, and I brought it up, and there was nothing we could do because it was all within the rules of the game. And we were just hoping this person wouldn't win in the end, because it would be totally unfair. Totally unfair. Because they were robbing people of 30 to 40, upwards of 70 points sometimes. We were amazed when we got the ballot in, and we were like, wait, that was a great singer. That was a great singer. How are they only getting 17 points? And it happened practically for everybody except a couple people. And the people who we thought were not as well, they didn't perform as well as the people who got 12, 15. I know it's all subjective and everybody's a little different, but when the panel of judges were baffled at the scores that were coming in for some by this one person, and then for others who just happened to be, and we'll get to that in a minute, who just happened to be a little closer to the contestant than we thought, or that we knew of. We started realizing that 40 point in the first round, that 40 points, we'll say on average, that was left off by it was strategic. You could tell it was strategic to take out some of the best singers early, because 40 points was going to catapult some of these contestants from not being one of the top 10 finalists to being number 7 or number 5. That's how much 40 points made a difference. So strategically, this person decided, hey, because of a 100-point scale system, you could really damage somebody by keeping everything real low. And we saw, in the first round alone, we saw 3 girls in particular that were just so, at least worthy of being in the second round, not being there, and other people moving ahead that shouldn't have been there because of the 40-point swing. So people who wouldn't have made the second round, we're not even talking about the person who was voting low. There were other people that that benefited from the fact that such a low score went to people who were actually better from one person, that there was no way to make up a 40-point difference no matter how many other people voted, because everybody else, for the most part, voted, fair. There was, they just wanted to have a good time. But this other person, they had an agenda there, and they came very close because the top 10 moved on. We had 18, then it went to 10. And the same thing happened in the second round. Same name come across, same low vote totals for the best of the girls that were left. And I say girls because the majority of the contestants were women. I think overall there were 4 to 5 men in the whole competition. Most of them were eliminated in the first round. I think there were only 2 left in the second round. In fact, I know there were 2 left. The one guy, he knew he didn't stand a chance, so he just went out and went for the popular song just to get everybody to have a good time, and maybe he could, by performance factor versus talent, gain some votes and hopefully move him on to the third round, because the competition was fairly strong overall. The top 5, and 4 of the top 5 should have been there. But again, because of the one perpetrator who continually gave vote totals under 20 points to all the stronger vocalists. And when you dwindled it down, once people left, they were no longer voting. So now the pool got smaller. So that 40 vote total made a bigger difference because there wasn't enough other people voting to balance out, or at least to help, correct that a little bit. So I felt bad for some of the contestants, and I went up to them after the fact, and I congratulated them, and I'm like, you should have got this, you should have got that. But the one person I'm talking about, holy smokes, that strategy got them into the top 5. But when they came in for their third song, their choice of song was awful. It was just terrible. And as one of the judges remarked, they were more a theater-based vocalist. They were trained in the theater. And you could tell. In fact, I think the comment was they should go to Las Vegas, which I would agree, because they were very, glammy, glitzy, that kind of singing. It was more Vegas-y, it was showy type thing versus some of the choices that were made, especially in that third round, really were baffling. And eventually the one who, and see, this was another thing that I might, in an attempt to give some constructive criticism, the person who won sang Aretha Franklin 3 times, showing no real range of vocal beyond. I mean, Aretha's a great vocalist, don't get me wrong, and the singer was great at doing Aretha Franklin, but I would have liked to seen, as a judge, a more diverse selection of music to see if she really had range, because the vocalist who came in third place, in my humble opinion, out of the 5 that remained, had not only the best performance in the third round, and yet got a vote total of 19 or something from the one character, which made a bigger difference. Because if that person votes 50, even a mediocre score, third place wins first place, game over, and the Aretha girl doesn't get the $2,000. But, the Aretha girl, she did Aretha perfectly. I just don't I would change it to you have to have 3 separate artists. You can't, just pick one artist, because some people are really good at doing one artist, but that's it. But if you're in a contest and you're calling it the Tournament of Champions, these people need range. And the girl who got third place, the one thing that I'm giving her a lot of credit for is she went each round, she topped herself as far as song quality and vocal range. And by the third round, when it was the big gun, she broke out and she did great. And she showed her showmanship. She came up right to the judges' table there and sang right to us. And it was incredible. And I was like, she should win. And because vote total guy only gave her 17, 18, 19 points, it was under 20, instead of giving her a 50, which would have been mediocre at best. Outside of that, I had a great time last night, folks. I really did. It was fun. Totally fun. And I think they might need to change the rules just a little bit to accommodate for the people who play dirty. That's all. No, they wouldn't even have made the final 10 if they would have just voted normally. If they would have just voted normally, because nobody else voted that low. The whole competition, everybody, the lowest totals, and there were some bad people, and they got totals of 35 or 40, but they were bad. Just have to find ways around the people who are gonna bend the rules as far as they can. We got to take our first time out, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying this random show here. I don't know what we're going to talk about all night. We might get to your phone calls. Lots in the news. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going? Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back. Does your house need a paint job, but you don't want to do it? Then call Tom at Quality One Painting. He can handle all of your interior and exterior painting needs. He gives free estimates and senior discounts. Call Tom at Quality One. 313-982-2986. That's 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
And it's so much fun. Why you keep talking? Oh, am I not supposed to? No. Oh, back to John. Thanks for allowing me to indulge myself that first segment there. It's my show. I can indulge myself all I want, right? What did Tony Stark say? You can be sure that I will pleasure myself. Oh, Lord. If you didn't see my little press conference with Wrecking Crew and the other tribute bands there, the Jovi and the Fallen Angel Band, because they're having a big gig coming up at the Emerald Theater, go to my Facebook page at John Lebang and look that up and check it out. It was a good hour long. We had a great time. That was out at the Emerald Theater. We were in their upstairs bar. We have kind of a lounge area. And that was pretty cool as well. So it's been an eventful week for the Banger. Usually the Banger don't do a whole hell of a lot. And this week, at least the past, 10 days have been pretty exciting. In fact, it went really quick, and it was nice to take a nice drive. I used to do that a great deal when I was younger. Although I had a dog at the time, and that would be one of the things we would do, is I'd take the dog somewhere, and we'd go somewhere, and then we'd go for a little hike or something. But I don't do as much driving as I used to, and it's a great way of escaping. The traffic wasn't bad, so it was a nice, easy drive, and it was a fun time. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more of that. There's a big plan coming up to do that, and I think I got to head out west at some point to do some driving travel. So that should be interesting, but we'll get to that one day if we're going to ever talk about that. So as you can see, I got the Banger Cam over here because we're on Banger Cam 3 today. If you're still watching, I may run this the whole show. You know, I look really tired. So, hey, you guys in the comment section or the chat room, make fun of the way I look. Tell me, John, you look terrible. And that's because I think I'm only on 3 hours of sleep, maybe 4 hours of sleep. No, not even. Because it took me, I got home at about 1:30 and it took me like 40 minutes to decompress after the drive because it was an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. Plus the long evening, you just want to wind down a little bit. And then I was up at like 5:30 because you got to prep for the show. And there's so much to talk about. It's just awful. What a horrible week in the news. The New Zealand thing is just, I guess if you look at it, we were probably due for some kind of thing like this. The stabbing attacks in the United Kingdom were eventually going to be overshadowed by some maniac with a gun. Can you imagine? And this is what I am most concerned with because I can't understand it. I guess you can, Mr. Zuckerberg, if you want to chime in and let me know how this happened and how it doesn't happen for me, because I can guarantee you I'm not going to get, with my live stream video on Facebook, the amount of people watching me as the shooter apparently did. Can you imagine? Live running around, poo everybody. I mean, it's awful. The original total was 49 people dead. But Facebook will allow a video like this to play, and there's no oversight to this. It's allowed to run and do whatever. And the whole world can see this guy on a rampage, and he can be the star for 15 minutes. He's going to be that for a little longer. Yet, other videos can't get in feeds. Other videos, 29, 30 views. What is the criteria? What kind of tags? Mr. Zuckerberg, I'm just asking you as a Facebook user, and I want to improve my experience. How do I get views in this amount? Because I don't really want to have that kind of content on my channel. I'm just saying. That's not something I'm going for. I prefer to do something non-violent. And I'm hoping that you, as a platform and the leader of the platform, can explain to me why so many views of this video were out there, how it was even allowed to get this many views. Yet a poor schlub like me, 20, 30, 40, 50 views, maybe if I'm lucky. So is he using good? I don't know the tags he's using. Is it the content? Because that's something. If Facebook is allowing this to slip through, somehow just slip through. 49 people dead originally. They've recently changed that to 50, but 49, 4, and 9. Think about it. The people who've been listening a long time know what I'm talking about. Think about it. But this guy's allowed to stream on Facebook. No oversight. It goes out there. People can watch it. I've heard people talk about, I watched the video. I'm not interested. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I'm not interested in watching a live gunman go around shooting people in New Zealand. It's just not a thing of mine. I did not enjoy watching the World Trade Center come crumbling down. It wasn't cool. Now, if you're doing it for research purposes, that's one thing. If you're trying to understand the mindset of the guy, I don't know what you're going to glean from all that video. But I know most people who watched that were in shock and awe. Just sitting there. What the hell's going on? Is this live? Is this real? Can you imagine? I mean, I wasn't one of those people that were watching it live as it happened. If you are out there, if anybody's out there listening, and they were watching this live, what compelled you to watch it? Because if we're going to watch these videos, more people are going to do this crap. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, if they're going to be stars, so, we've seen articles recently. Young people, mental health. There's so much mental health. People are on all kinds of pharmaceuticals. All kinds. There's so many people not right in the head. If they think they can get their 15 minutes of fame by doing some kind of crazy act like this, they might just go and do it. If it's not something worse, like, well, it's ironic that Facebook streamed this live when they just talked about them wanting to do mind control through Facebook. I've got an article, and you can go to my website, www.jlebang.com, and check that article out. But yeah, Facebook wants to use mind control. Here's the article for you, just so you know. It's from Nadeem Connor. Zuckerberg wants Facebook to build a mind-reading machine. Mind reading. If you can read the mind, you most likely can control the mind. And where do they get these ideas from? Well, I don't know. Some people out there, if they've done their research, I mean, some of the people that have done their research, let me be more clear, we've got to clarify. The people that have done their research kind of think Facebook is maybe either CIA or NSA based. It sure has ties there. Some of the people who are involved there might have some backgrounds that are linked, connected. If we're going to draw conclusions from a dossier from Mr. Steele with circumstantial evidence or made up evidence, I don't know what kind of evidence, that makes one guy guilty for collusion for working with the Russians, then why don't we use the same scrutiny on the Facebooks for doing that? And the CIAs and the FBIs. The FBI, you know how many times the FBI has known about one of these assassins, murderers, killers, miscreants? What do you call these people anymore? And with this culture and the social media that somehow allows videos like this to get mega views, why wasn't this video shut down within minutes? After the first... some people will say, well, it will give us perspective on the killer. It will give us perspective on the killer. Maybe we could learn something from him. Yeah. There's crazy people. That's what we learn. There's a lot of crazy people. Of course, they're talking about gun laws now. The leader of the country talk about changing gun laws. Well, I went to find out gun laws in New Zealand to see if they change the law, if they can do anything to stop this kind of guy. And under New Zealand law, some lawful, proper, and sufficient purpose is needed to use, discharge, or carry any firearm, air gun, or similar weapon. So wait a minute. So they have a law in place that says you have to be law-abiding on how you discharge your weapon, how you carry it, what kind of weapon, so on and so forth. This guy wasn't abiding by the law at all. And other nut jobs are not going to abide by the law. The law sounds good to me. Already on the books, law sounds good to me. You can't kill anybody with a gun. Unless they're trying to hurt you, probably. That's what that law-abiding means. Unless you're getting attacked yourself. You can't just walk through with Facebook Live on and start shooting people. Can't do it. Sounds like a good law to me, already on the books. Why do you need another law? Just asking. Is that going to stop this guy again? This guy's going to, all of a sudden, the next guy is going to be like, oh, there's a new law. I better not do it now. I might go to jail. I might go to jail for killing people. Are you freaking... The knee-jerk reaction by the world, I tell you, everybody. And I understand that it was a huge terrorist-type event. See, I see that as terrorism. Other people are going to call it mass shootings. They're one and the same to me. And I'd rather classify it as some form of terrorism, I guess. But other people would just like to take the guns away. So they want to classify it as something else. So, the agendas are there. And they jumped on those agendas right away, didn't they? They just, well, let's go after the guns again. In New Zealand. And people in America are fighting over guns. You got Ocasio-Cortez chiming in. She's chiming in on New Zealand law. I mean, can we let New Zealand figure this one out themselves? Just asking, ladies and gentlemen, can we let New Zealand figure it out themselves? To me, the law's okay. Sounds like the law's good to me. You can't kill somebody unless they're attacking you. That's what that law sounds like to me. Unlawfully. I'm sure walking up to a bunch of people live on Facebook is unlawful. The dude was breaking the law. So you think making another law is going to stop the next guy? I mean, that's insanity. You want to know why we have a mental health issue, ladies and gentlemen? It's because it goes all the way to the top, to the elites. It's all over the place. And the sane people, unfortunately, look like we're in the minority. And when we take into account how many people have autism, how many other people have other kinds of mental anguish, and let's not get into depression and all that, which even affects the normal people. And why wouldn't it affect the normal people when the normal people see their world decaying, falling apart at the seams? Why wouldn't normal people be depressed? You can blame the leaders. You can blame the people who voted for the leaders. You can blame the pharmaceutical companies. You can blame a whole lot of things. But we got big problems, and, a gun law to stop people from killing people when there's already laws that say you can't kill people just is a bunch of nonsense, and it's politicians trying to look like they're worth a crap when they're really not. Break time, folks. We got more in store for you. I think I'm going to get to your calls at some point. And boy, that coffee is kicking in, folks. It's kicking in, and we're going to fill up right now, and we'll be back. Don't move a muscle.
The John Lebang Show. Be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes! Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass for a beautiful shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
And welcome back, folks. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying tonight. I'm a little wacky. The longer we go, the more caffeine I ingest, the more the lack of sleep starts setting in. I expect it to get more zany as the show progresses. So by the time we're in the fourth segment, I might have just gone off the deep end, and it's probably going to be total whack job fun around here. So But hell, you got to thank God for coffee, right? Got to thank God for coffee and lack of sleep. It's a beautiful combination. I can go from ranting to forgetting what I'm talking about and then picking up somewhere else. It's awesome. Let's go to the phone lines and see what you have to say. Our first call going out to Peppa in Chicago.
Oh, honey, what's wrong with someone singing Aretha Franklin?
There's nothing wrong with singing Aretha Franklin. I would just think that it would be better if you showed more diversity in your singing.
Oh, man, why you be hating?
I'm not hating. She was still really good. She sounded just like Aretha Franklin.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Sorry, we got to keep the call short today, Peppa. Our next call going out to Detroit. Shady, you're in the studio.
Yeah, but I want to say something on the radio, John.
Well, why didn't you just come on the air?
Well, I thought it was easier just to call you.
All right, well, what do you want to talk about, Shady?
I want to talk about Sam Jackson. He's out there saying that he doesn't care if Trump supporters don't want to see his movies.
Well, yeah, when he's near the end of his career, why would he care? He's already made all his money.
Maybe the old man's getting some of Bree's Lawson.
What?
Maybe Sam Jackson is getting some of Bree's Lawson.
Okay, Shady, you got anything else?
No, I think I'm good, John.
All right, Shady, thanks for your call. Up next is Juan from California.
Hey, man, did you see it, man?
Did I see what?
Oh, it's big news, man.
What's big news?
Hey, man, Michael Jackson's daughter, man. She almost committed suicide, man.
Well, actually, she attempted suicide, and it failed.
She's all bummed out about her dad, man.
I mean, that's understandable. Her father is being accused of some pretty bad stuff over at his little park over there.
Everything's true, man.
Well, if everything is true, and we've known that Michael Jackson has been a weirdo for a long time, even when he was alive, even when Neverland was created, we knew he was a weirdo. Why now all the outrage? They loved him. They loved Michael Jackson. The music industry, all that loved Michael Jackson for all these years. Now that he's gone, all of a sudden, Michael Jackson, his entire legacy needs to be ripped down when it should have been not built up. If he was a weirdo scumbag that these findings are showing, then we probably should have never supported Michael Jackson back in the day. Now that he's gone, he's a scumbag, right? Now that he's gone, he's a scumbag. Not back in the day. They loved him. How many people learned the Thriller dance? How many people played his music at their wedding? Knowing he was a scumbag the whole time, knowing he was a weirdo, if not a scumbag. You try really hard to understand why people support the people they do. They don't check them out, or they ignore all this douchebaggery of the person while they're providing whatever they're providing. In Michael Jackson's case, they were providing hit after hit after hit after hit, making them money. So the record industry turned away. All the other industries, the award industry, all of them just kind of, we're not looking. We'll wait till you're dead. We'll wait till you're dead to really make a ruckus about it. Even though ruckuses were made back then and they were just like, shh, don't say anything. Shh, shh, shh. We'll deal with that later. It's like the Obama with Putin thing. A couple of years before he was out of here. It was like under the mic, it's I'll work with you after the election. Because I'll have more flexibility. I mean, it's a bunch of garbage, right? If the guy is a douchebag, and we all know that certain people are scumbags and they're weirdos, why do we give these people so much? Because they provide us a hit song? Is that worth uplifting the scumbags of the world, the weirdos? I mean, in Michael Jackson's case, and the history there, we could see he was messed up in the head. He was messed up I mean, doing that to his body, though, and changing it the way he did towards the end there. I mean, he didn't have a lot right. And his poor kids had to deal with that. And, it's just, we support the people because they provide something so minuscule as a hit song, or they give us a good TV show, or whatever and then we look the other way the whole time, and then after the fact, we get outraged. It's just, quit being hypocritical, people, is all I'm saying. We knew Michael Jackson was a weirdo. Leave it alone. We got any more calls coming in? Not right now. So let's get into some other news, and then we'll finish off this segment, and then we'll get back in the fourth segment. We're going to have a little debate that I've been going on through my mind there, and I just wanted to get you all involved. But we'll wait for that at the end of the segment. First off, in the news, woman 31 suffers anaphylactic seizure. How does she do that? You wouldn't believe it if I told you, but I'm going to tell you, even though you'll be surprised. This lady in Spain was admitted with suspected anaphylactic shock. And she told medics she hadn't been taking any penicillin for any, because she has a penicillin allergy, and she wasn't taking it. But apparently, right before the shock, right before she was hit hard with this, she was giving her partner oral sex. So apparently, he had a great deal of the penicillin derivative in his system, and it transferred into his semen, I'm guessing, and she ingested it, and so now now we have to check IDs and ask them, are you on medication? Because I may have anaphylactic seizure if I have some kind of oral sex with somebody. Pharmaceutical companies. I brought them up earlier, didn't I? We've got another call coming in from Washington, D.C. Donald, you're up next.
John, did you hear, John?
Did I hear what?
Oh, it's huge, John. So huge.
What's huge?
Scientists say, John, that Mercury is closer than my penis.
Sir, I think you're referring to Mercury actually being closer than Venus is to Earth.
That's what I said, John. So I couldn't have done it with Stormy. I'm just saying, make my penis great again. There's no scandal here.
Okay, sir, thanks for your call. I was going to touch on this, and I appreciate the Donald for giving me a quick segue into that. So apparently, if you haven't read the entire story, what you got in the headlines is that Mercury is closer to the Earth than Venus is, contradicting years of orbital data. And that's a great headline, and it's nice clickbait material. But if you were to read into it, what they're explaining in there, ladies and gentlemen, is that because of Venus's orbit, it's always on the other side of the sun. And Mercury's always is closer to us because it's on the same side of the sun as we are. So technically, even though the orbit of Venus is closer to our orbit, Mercury is closer to the Earth because it just happens to be orbiting closer to the Earth because it's on this side of the sun, and Venus's orbit is on the other side of the sun. So by the time it comes back around to where it's close to the Earth, its closest point, it takes forever. And then it takes it away, and Mercury's going around circles real quick on the sun, comparatively. That's our little science discussion for the day. In related news, one would say a companion story. Astronomers say aliens might zap black holes with their lasers to travel through the galaxy. Now that is a great headline. Who wouldn't want to read that? So every nerd out there jumps on this one by Mach, this website, and they're like, oh, let's see what this is about. But when you read the story, they get you there with the headlines. Then the story reads as follows. An astronomer at Columbia University has a new guess. Right there in the first line, new guess theory, hypothesis. He doesn't know, but he's guessing about how hypothetical alien civilizations might be invisibly navigating our galaxy. So right there in the first few lines of the first paragraph, they tell you, we just hacked you and clickbaited you right into this story. Because what you're reading is fiction. It's so bad that we're telling you up front that none of this is true. It's just us talking about this guy that had an idea that can't be proven. But that's a wonderful headline in that. For all those people that just read the headlines and then share it. Oh, look at this.
See, there's aliens exist, George. George, see, I told you aliens exist here on there. They're saying they're traveling through the black hole and zapping it, man. I saw those aliens up there in space. I was looking up there after we drank like what? After what, it was a jug of moonshine about a month ago. Remember that? And we were out there in the woods. I told you, we were out there in the woods, and all those lights, flashes, zooms, I told you, those were aliens. And then they abducted me. That's why I was gone for 3 days. I came back, my butt was sore. I couldn't believe it. And this passes for journalism, ladies and gentlemen. In one more companion story before we go to break, quantum time. This is a good one for you. Scientists have built world's first time machine, an experiment which defies the laws of physics. That's exciting. That's going to get you to click and share, isn't it, folks? When you get into the story, you realize that it's just a computer program de-evolving itself. So these researchers use what they call as a qubit, which is the basic unit of quantum information, not quantum particles. The unit that represents 1, 0, and both 1 and 0 at the same time. You get it. Pay attention, folks. You're going to learn something right here. This is what is considered journalism and time travel to some people. Researchers ran a evolution program. You get it? See, they just had a unit they used for quantum information inside a computer. See, it wasn't an actual unit. It wasn't an actual unit. See, you have to read a little bit to find that one out. And they program. And all it did, it caused the qubits to enter a complicated changing pattern of 1s and 0s. That's all it did. And during this process, the order was lost. So this is like hitting balls at the start of a game of pool. This is what they're saying. And a separate program then, are you understanding the program? So they didn't really time travel. This is inside of a computer. Program then modified the state of the quantum computer so that it evolved backwards, returning from chaos to order. Journalism from the sun, ladies and gentlemen. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back
after this.
That's guaranteed. Yes. At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
And it's so much fun. And welcome back. Apparently Shady told me I looked tired in the break there, so I'm going to try on some glasses, and you guys tell me which one. I'm going with the 3D glasses right now. What do you think? Those of you watching on the Banger Cam, if we still got the Banger Cam on? We do, okay. There we go. And I don't want to be showing off video when there's nothing to talk about. So what do you think? The 3D glasses, everything's in 3D. Ooh. Yeah, the cool, I think these are the work glasses. There we go. See, if you're missing all this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening to the radio, you try these blue glasses. I don't know what these are from. I don't know. Blue? Hey. Glasses are good. Keeps it dim. I know I'm looking tired. All right, folks. What you've all been waiting for, even though you didn't know you were waiting for it. I saw an excellent little article. I forgot who published it, but that's okay because I'm not going to use their article. I just wanted to use their premise. They were discussing, and this is for all you sci-fi geeks, so anybody who's not a science fiction geek might be leaving really soon. And I apologize for that, but I'm tired. I'm in geekdom. I'm a little hyped up on coffee, zoned out from not sleeping. I think geekdom is a appropriate subject to discuss at this moment. So they're having this little ranking of the best Starfleet captains.
Here's my hand. Hold on.
So we're going to go with the guy on number 5, because I didn't realize, Mr. Bakula.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon, what's beyond our own shores.
Then I start going over the top 4. We have Picard, we have Kirk, we have Janeway, and Sisko. Those are the main ones. And I tell you what, it was really hard picking the next 2. But unlike the article, I have to say Commander Janeway was the 4th best. She was a little bit reckless, screwing around with the Borg.
I never realized you thought of me as reckless, Tuvok.
A poor choice of words. It was clearly an understatement.
3rd on the list, by default, and it's unfortunate because he was great. I just think the other 2 are a little bit better.
Commander Worf, prepare to fire torpedoes on my mark.
Detach safeties on torpedoes 1 and 2.
Incoming transmission, it's Eddington.
What are you really up to, Javert? You expect me to believe that a decorated Starfleet officer, the pride of the service, is going to poison an entire planet?
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Benjamin Sisko. In many ways, he was the most important captain in Starfleet in any of the episodes, because he dealt with not only the Dominion War, but he had the Klingons attack. Everything happened at Deep Space Nine. And it was Benjamin Sisko who had to deal with it. And I, for one, really like Deep Space Nine. And if it were not for the other 2 series being so good and the other 2 captains being so prominent, Deep Space Nine would be my favorite Star Trek series. Now I'm debating here. Do I like the original series with Captain Kirk, or do I like Jean-Luc Picard? Jean-Luc, he's like that captain, proper, steady, didn't take much risks. You were always confident in the captain. He listened to his staff. He got opinions from everybody. He had a good crew around him as well. He never, rarely I should say, made rash decisions. In the movies, his decisions became more Kirk-like. But in the series, he was he was the statesman of all the captains. But on the other hand, you have James T. Kirk, the original. Kirk is the quintessential leader when it comes to going in there and leading by example. Kirk hardly ever sent anybody on an away team without him going with, I'm leading. I'm going. He would take the brunt of the action more times than not. And he would just push red shirts in the way when it came time for somebody to get zapped with a phaser or a blaster or something.
Hold on. You won't be afraid if you use your mind and think. Think. You can do it. That's it.
Star Trek Next Generation was really the series that was for my generation. We grew up with Captain Jean-Luc Picard, William Riker, Geordi, Data.
You are fully functional, aren't you?
Captain Picard.
Tell Gowron, leader of the High Council of the Klingon Empire, that his arbiter of succession, Jean-Luc Picard, needs a favor.
By a hair, being the best captain of all the captains, and James T. Kirk being number 2. If we go with the series, I like the first series better. The second series, the Next Gen, got a little touchy-feely for me.
It is for a mission that could have repercussions throughout the quadrant.
But I think Captain Picard is number 1, Kirk 2, Cisco 3, Janeway 4, whatever his name is, Bakula dude 5, Archer. That's his name, Archer. In fact, if we took him out, I'd like to put in a couple honorable mentions.
We're not on a research mission. Get it done in 2 days.
Jellicoe was one heck of a tough captain. He was very much like Kirk. And I thought he was a much better captain than Archer was. But you only saw him in one episode, and he was made to be the villain because he came in and was tough on the crew.
I don't want to talk about it. Get it done.
And wanted everything ship-shape because they were about to go to war with the Kardashians, and there was no time for a love fest between the captain and the crew. And I liked his take charge nature. Then we have Captain Pike, the predecessor to Kirk. I don't know if he's he's better than Bakula because Bakula had a whole series, but I don't think he was worse. I didn't like Bakula. I'm not taking into account the new Star Treks. I will have to discover them on my own, which I haven't yet, so bear with me on that.
Something wrong?
Kink in my back. That's it. A little higher. Push hard.
But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. May not have been the wild and craziest show. I'm starting to get a little energy level has been tapering off here towards the end, and the coffee's wearing down.
I want you to conduct the exercises personally, Will. Get it done.
I want to send a thank you to all of my affiliate stations that carry the John Lebang Show. Don't forget to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. And with that being said, until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John Lebang, signing off for now from the Banger Studios. Time to get some Z's.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance